Rebonjour if you're hailing from the previous Kefka video, or welcome for this last vid about the Sigmascape with the God Kefka. Sometimes also named Kefka Final, both games once again simply show his name as Kefka. Hold tight, we'll quickly start with the mind-blowing reference. Both versions start the encounter with Heartless Archangel, lowering every player's HP to 1. But there's more than meets the eyes. Kefka was quite the egotistical character. After becoming a god, he struck fear all around the world by punishing everyone who rebelled against his will or his cult with his light of judgment. This was remade into a really strong AoE of the same name, at least in English. In French, they went for Warring Triad instead, but Human Kefka describes it as Light of Judgment the first time he uses it, and it was Judgment's Ray back in FF6. But let's get back on track. What could be more unnerving for him than seeing a party of heroes managing to go so far as his divine form and still have the gals to oppose him? Heartless Archangel wasn't a random choice for a first strike. You see, in the 6th, when a character was low on health, they put a knee on the ground. But against Kefka, it actually meant that he forced you to kneel before him. In FF14 though, players don't change the way they stand depending on their current HP. And now I can hear you ask,
where are you getting at?
For this, we need to go back to the end of the battle against Kefka during the transition. Contrary to Exdeath who let players alone, Kefka used Holy Ascent. You will say that it's because Kefka is a lot more of a showman, but whatever. It doesn't deal so much damages, but the most important part of it is that you also get the down for the count ailment. Where it differs from a simple stun is that your character puts a knee on the ground. Yes, in the 14th, Kefka forces you to kneel before his divine form too. While you're regaining your composure, we'll now get onto the black magic spells. In the 6th, Kefka Final used the strongest versions of Fire, Ice and Thunder, which he used independently from one another. In the 14th, he cast them in quick succession with their two variants during the Celestiad skill. Outside of the triad part that alludes to the number 3, it's a bit weird to associate this name to an ability casting 3 elements almost at the same time. Because in FF6, the Celestiad Relics effect was to reduce the MP consumption of everything to only 1. Another relic called Soul of Thamasa allowed you to cast 2 spells in a row in one turn, but not 6. I'll just give that to the team in charge of designing the encounter. Ultima works the same as the previous fight, a red-white AoE, but there is something new, the second word is missing. I didn't mention it in the previous video, but the localization team deserves a hearty round of applause for the poetic choices of those words, with consonants such as flagrant fire, thrumming thunder, and alliterations like Ultima Upsurge. And the fact that they were dropped in this fight carries more impact. Kefka is no longer here to joke around. Hyperdrive goes one step beyond as well. It's still a tank buster, but it gets back the dot as a bleeding ailment, and saw a change in the visual effect. There isn't any tub in it anymore. Ultimate Embrace is some sort of even stronger buster that needs to be shared by 2 tanks, but isn't related to FF6 in any way. And to be through with this idea of Kefka being dead serious, he's able to summon the Divine Tower during the Forsaken phases, which isn't crumbling in the transition like in the 6th. This ability needed a rather long charging time to deal neutral magic damages to your whole team. In the 14th, it's again an AoE, but the charging time has been turned into a phase. I already covered the Divine Tower's skills in the previous video, so I'll talk about the others. First off, Heartless Archangel, a stronger version of Heartless Archangel, that adds another temporary debuff blocking heals while dropping everyone's HP to 1. Kefka's head appearing during the charging time gets a more important mechanic. 4 players are each tethered to a mad head that explodes once it comes into contact with them, or after some time has passed but for a lot more damages. All Forsaken phases are ended with the Light of Judgment. Wings of Destruction was a rather strong physical attack on one character. It gets 2 variants in the 14th. The first one only lights up one wing and an AoE will cover the whole part of the arena it's pointing at. The second version is strangely closer to the original. Both angel wings lit up and hit with an AoE the player closest to Kefka and the other farthest from him. Let's continue with Trine. This ability didn't hurt but still struck you with 2 ailments, mute and blindness. I need to add that it was used by both the rest part of the tower and Kefka final. That's probably why it presents itself under 2 forms, one big and many small triangles. They're laid on the ground and their tips end up exploding in a circular shape. If you get hit, not only do you take damages this time, but you also get 2 ailments that reduce your DPS and healing received. The rest part had the meteor spell which hit all your heroes. That shower is back with the following mechanic. 2 DPS are marked and leave a temporary poodle each time they're hit, while the 2 others can dodge the rocks which don't leave any additional AoE. Funny trivia, this mechanic is called Star Strafe in English, but literally Dancing Mad in French, just like this battle's exclusive track. We also get 3 more variants. Circles called Path of Light that require a precise number of players to stand into and catch the falling rock, a meteor targeting a player that has to be shared, and 1 giant meteor we have to get away from. I'll jump on this occasion to talk about the Vitrofire skill from the previous fight. Visually, it looks like the rocks appearing in God Kefka's version of the meteor spell, and that's it, I got you good. While you're rushing to the dislike button, I'll cover the next skills. Final Fantasy VI was divided in 2 worlds, the world of balance at first, and the world of ruins after Kefka became a god. In the 14th, it takes the form of 2 abilities, starting with Kefka jumping on someone to use the first small AoE, followed by an insanely larger and stronger one, Past Forgotten that deals the AoE behind Kefka, and Futures Numbered that does it in front of him. And to conclude, let's talk about the end versions of the rune skills that were spawned from his desire to destroy everything for good. Future's End, or Past's End, spawned 3 copies of Kefka that jump on the healers and the other tank. Once the original has cast all things ending, he and all his copies used their secondary AoE. Well damn, what a long ride, thanks for staying until now. Or not. Prenez soin de vous et amusez-vous bien.